Drones flying over New Jersey are nothing. It's just media hype and frenzy to get clicks. Let's debunk a lot of your fears with just common sense and some logical deduction. A New Jersey congressman claims that these drones are coming from an Iranian mothership offshore. Iran doesn't have the funding or the tech capability to create any kind of mothership that could make it all the way across the Atlantic and then launch something against this country. In fact, Iran has not been this weak since the conclusion of the Iran-Iraq War in 1988. All of Iran's proxies in the Middle East have been defanged, and they are now relatively powerless to do anything for them. Syria was a major training ground for Iranian resistance against any Western interest, and it was also a very powerful corridor for them to transport their troops and goods into Lebanon. Syria was a major producer of weapons for Iran, and it looks like those factories have been destroyed for the most part. Not to mention, every single fighter jet in the Syrian Air Force has been destroyed by the US and Israel. Iran also needs the vast bulk of their drones to defend against any Israeli attack or to maybe counterattack anything Israel does to them. And whatever is left, they manage to send over to Russia. So no, there are no Iranian drones flying over America. Same thing goes to Russia because they are entrenched in a war against Ukraine where they've lost nearly 800,000 troops, and they are sending every piece of flyable metal to try to attack Ukraine interests. And China has made it very clear that they will go only so far to upset the US when they finally complied with US sanctions against Russia in August because the United States threatened to cut China off from denominating some of their debt in dollars. So right now, China doesn't have the diplomatic or economic wiggle room to start putting their blimps or drones over any bit of US airspace. So who could it have been? Canada! Just pulling your leg. It was most likely a US domestic drone operation. Might have been secretive. That intel guy makes a great case for what actually happened with the drones. I suggest you follow him and watch that post. He mentions how there are several drone manufacturers in New Jersey. And keep in mind, New Jersey is the most densely populated area in the United States. So we may be having these types of drone operations in the Southwest or the Midwest, but those are less populated areas, so there's less likely of a chance for them to be found in the night sky or even in the daytime. So there's a chance that these drone manufacturers are just testing out new equipment that they haven't released into the public eye just yet. Some of these drones look like airplanes, and they also have the same light assignment like the red, green, and blue or white that follow FAA compliance. That's kind of a tell for domestic compliance. And remember, the largest mouthpieces describing where these drones may have come from are US politicians, and they have a reputation for being extremely stupid. And then there's the fact that these drones may have been test launched by independent military contractors in the United States. The feds have claimed that they don't know what's happening, and that may be true because they are not in the need to know loop, or they know about it, but they just can't talk about it because maybe, just maybe, this is a classified operation. Elon Musk's SpaceX has been working with the National Reconnaissance Organization to make a network of spy satellites in which nobody can hide. And while this NRO has existed since the 50s or the 60s, they were not allowed to ever be mentioned or have their name declassified until the 1990s. Remember that DARPA is a terrifying military instrument of the United States. The most cutting-edge military technology that you could think of today was developed by DARPA and released probably for them 20 years ago. DARPA has nearly unlimited funding and levels of jurisdiction to test and try whatever they want. There's very little our legal institutions can do about it. And one last bit of common sense. If you are developing new drones that you want to try out, would you want to put them in enemy territory where they will be shot down with extreme prejudice? Or would you maybe fly them over your own territory where there's a high chance that they won't be shot down by any military efforts? If there was some kind of malfunction of these drones on US soil, that would be much easier to retrieve than testing at, let's say, China, Iran, even Mexico or Canada. I am the Geo Hussar. We have 43 days left until the potential TikTok ban. Feel free to follow me everywhere else. Thanks for watching.